Kimberly, can I get a hell yes?
Hello.
Can I get a hell yes?
Hell yes.
We've got a 10K in the house. What up?
Yep, I do. I'm pretty excited.
Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, so before you joined with us,
Uh-huh.
what were your reservations about joining?
My reservations were that I had already done a course. I'd already invested and not into other things, and I'd gotten a little bit of results, a little bit of traction, but I didn't really feel like I didn't. It wasn't enough traction, so I was nervous about investing yet again and
Mm,
not getting results.
that's what we hear a lot. So, you don't need to talk about that, but in terms of who it was with, etc. But was it because it was lacking support in some shape or form?
Yes, definitely support. And then I think that, I've gone back and forth in terms of what maybe I wasn't the right audience, um, you know, but I'm, you know, I think that's pretty common for everyone, like nobody gets me type of thing. But I think that maybe there were just so many elements to, let me just put it this way. With the first one, I invested in the program, and I was really probably, although I was the right audience and wanted to get those results, I just wasn't there in terms of like the social media
Mm,
piece. My offer is just very, very different. And that was the other thing is I'm a coach. And that program was not really designed for people who actually engage directly with people.
cool,
Um,
makes sense.
yeah. So then the second person I invested in, although she did get me some results, she just wasn't as sophisticated is the best way I can put it. Because I am a high ticket, and she, although she, and I think she got that right away, and then she pushed me a little in the wrong direction. She didn't really understand. Again, she didn't really understand my client and what I'm going for.
Mm. So you just secured your first high ticket at 10K.
Yeah, I had a high ticket, but not like, so I have a retainer for a company, and I would say it's pretty high ticket, but this is more, even
Okay.
more.
So
Yeah,
how
like,
much so how much now have you so where were you before and where are you now in your current revenue?
um so before, and I can just tell you monthly, before I was at 70, like 7,500 a month, and now this is 10K, and we're doing this over 3 months. I'm pretty sure I'll secure him long term because that's also what I do. So that would be, over 10K a month right now.
Brilliant. Okay, so what have you liked most about the support that we give you and the structures and the funnels, etc., and the live coaching and what have you liked the best?
So I definitely have liked the the quick responses has been huge because I think it keeps the community engaged, and I think that um, that's the next element that I really like because I think we're going through this like process. We all seem to be going through it, and I think the quick responses also drive more transparency with people and sharing kind of where they are. So I love that. I think that I have really loved the repetitive, as even though I listen to you on high speed. Um, I do like the repeat because I'm a coach. I understand like the learning that that was really helpful for me to just understand how to slow down a little bit and
Mm,
help people where they are and reiterate the important points. So I would say like your process is really good. And then honestly pushing me out of my comfort zone and explaining why. I think there were some really big aha moments for me around, building a lifetime asset. That wasn't clear to me before in the other program.
Mm.
Um, that is very clear to me. Like I really feel like I'm not spinning my wheels trying to
Mm.
get something done, just to put something out. I really feel like I'm finally like really able to put my to put assets together. And then I think the other piece, like I said, pushing me out of my comfort zone in terms of like, honestly, Facebook is a complete discomfort zone for me. I'm unusual because I'm not a Facebook user, so that
Mm.
was, but then just having to keep going through it and then understand the why, was helpful because I'm not a quitter at all, but even like, with ClickFunnels and, certain things, takes me a while to learn, and then I'm like, I really understand it, but I'm not going to spin my wheels if I feel like, oh my God, this isn't going to get me an ROI.
There's a that's a common one. A lot of coaches, consultants today are just spinning wheels, and they don't realize that they can actually just work on one, like literally just one asset, one signature program, one core piece of content, and refine that in a relatively short period of time. You're good to go. How long do you think it would have taken to you to get to your outcome without, seeing the systems in place, without having the structure, without having the support, without having the live coaching? Because a lot of people, in my view, wait sometimes 10 years before they actually do something about it. How long do you think it would have taken you without that?
Um, well, I would tell you that honestly, I don't know that I would have ventured out on Facebook ads
Wow.
at all.
So you never would have done it.
And that was in the other program. I think I was in DCA. I was in Amy Porterfield. I'm like in her membership program, but I honestly like Facebook ads were sort of I don't even know for sure. I think they were kind of surface,
Hmm.
an element like, oh, you should do this type of thing. And she still talks about it, but I don't know that I ever would have
Yeah.
considered it. And my husband is in digital marketing. Like
Yeah.
he would have geared me towards like Google or, down the road, but it just never would have occurred to me. So that's one.
They either have like a really overview approach, like here you should check it out, or they literally, in my view, again, they overcook how many different variations. And if you
Yeah.
have too many variations, if you can't make one ad work, you
Yes.
never make, 20. So therefore, 20 variations of copy is actually not helpful for anyone, especially regardless, even if you're starting or growing. Like
Yeah.
you just need a simple ad. All right, work on one simple ad into one simple piece of content, transition to sale, and build asset. So yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Did you have any reservations about joining us in terms of, did you do research on us, on me, or stuff like that? What were the blocks, or were there things that you're worried about?
So my blocks were, and I think they're pretty typical, but of like making mistakes, of,
Like,
like the fact, I guess here's like the distinction between the old way and the new way was
mm,
definitely a good was helpful for me. Um,
that's good.
I had listened to you on Clubhouse, and I actually didn't pick up that you were. I may have heard that you did strategy calls, but I didn't really pick up on it until the last time when I actually did.
We're gonna let
I
that one
don't know why.
slide. Okay,
Huh?
yeah. Again, sometimes it's not in the awareness, is it?
I mean, listen. I've been on. I haven't been on at all, but I was on Clubhouse really like early in the beginning
Mm.
of this year, so it was very early on. And I maybe not didn't listen to you till like the end.
Okay.
It took me a little bit. I understood, like I wound up figuring out you were UK, that you were on in the mornings. And so I would like listen to you for a little bit, and I just really connected with your sophistication level. Yes, like I mean, your picture, of that, and you definitely are just a stand above the rest. You come through smarter, more empathetic, like more genuine, um, educated, like you've made sense of your experience, you know what I mean? Like I can cut through the crap pretty quickly.
Mm,
And I just didn't appreciate the boys club happening on Clubhouse.
mm.
And so I think that was probably hesitation for me too at first, because um, so yeah. Oh, and then yeah, and so the big block for me was one that I felt like I'd already done something, I'd already tried to do a group program, wasn't totally sure if this is what I should keep trying to do. And so I think just the idea, like, oh my God, what if I don't do this now again?
So hold on, let me understand that. So what if, like, so is it from the headset of like I've invested, I haven't got where I want to be, and if I invest again and I'm still not where I want to be, then
Yeah.
that's the block, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Then it was
Okay.
like, okay, now I'm like, like now I'm
Further
just,
down.
yeah, not only that, like now I'm just dumb for like doing this once more. So I invested in the DCA, and I was, really thinking I could launch a course. And then as I, got closer, I'm like, I just, I couldn't. And she pushes so hard on a date.
Mm,
I'm very goal oriented, and that was frustrating for me. I
mm,
don't miss goals. Like I'm like always have a goal. So that was frustrating for me to be like, okay, I'm not going to do it. So it was like a failure, and then have to completely like restart again to say like I am just not figuring this out.
mm. That makes sense. So it was so what made so how did you shift that? So what happened? Like you're in that viewpoint of like I don't want to do it again. How did we end up here? What happened?
So I think for one, I understood your method. Um, Being on Clubhouse, I actually have notes. Like that's how I learned. So I just actually I kept some, and I even looked back. I'm like, oh my God, here's the program right here. Like you actually. So I had heard you talk about it a couple times, and I liked the idea, specifically the gamification, the rewards. Not for me personally, but the idea of that for my clients.
Hmm.
Um, and so I liked the concepts that you were sharing, and so I was familiar with that. And then on the call, um, when I think it was definitely he was able to articulate back to me what I said, what my problems were, in terms of like measure like what the cost is. And then ultimately it was around, are you gonna just wait to do this?
Mm,
Like you want to just wait until, how much longer are you gonna wait type of thing. Um, I think that was just the I don't, and to be honest with you, I'm trying to think, must have been a few things that converted me. But I have to tell you, when I did listen to week 3 and I listened to the closer process and I recognized it so clearly, I was like, oh yeah, I get it now. But I can't remember what it was specifically. My hesitation was the money.
mm,
Um, and I think he was really able to help me overcome that. Like,
mm.
not, I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm gonna like make millions of dollars off of this. It was just more about the push forward. Like, I just knew I was
It's really interesting saying that. So let's unpack that a little bit more. So it was the method first of all that attracted your attention. When you say the method, were there any particular parts of it? Obviously, like I believe in today's world, which I'm seeing more and more. I just got interviewed by Inc. last night, night before, and like this mass complication out there. There's there really is, multiple different platforms, and it really doesn't need to be that difficult. It literally is a simple add to automated content, and then once you have it live, you can do it automated, transition to either consultation call or straight to purchase. And I believe that as a foundational will just keep cutting through. So that's the core method. Was it, and when you say, was it about how you build the asset? When you say what piqued your interest first, and then I've got the next stage for you as well.
I actually have the notes. I still have the notes from that call. I'm a pack rat if you want. So here's create the core. So the one thing you said that was super helpful for me to understand was that you don't have to have it perfect right off the bat. That's where I kept getting stuck, is like, I have to have this thing set up. I had already, at that point, I had canceled Kajabi because I just couldn't even get, uploaded. So I wasn't even on Kajabi anymore. It was, the accountability piece was huge for me because it's huge in my practice. So the fact that you understood the accountability was important to me. Do you know what I mean? Oh, okay, I was writing notes here. Okay, here, I wrote this down. What they need to know, stories and facts, step by step. Last, what in the future, what is the benefit? So it was just that outcome orientation that I was processing through. But the 8 weeks, so whenever I was listening, it was an 8-week beta, 2 live sessions, not all the detail. So the simplification is what was helping me, because I was overloaded with content, not just outside content. I'm like, have 100 years of experience and like so much content that I was overwhelmed with the amount of content that I had, that I wasn't able to put anything out or even like make sense. So it was like not all the detail, giving people an opportunity to ask questions. Oh, I even wrote this down, designer version 1. So I think that was, it was simplified for me, despite the fact that Amy's call out is she's step by step. It is so overwhelming because there's like so many steps. And I don't think she's simple at all. So I don't know why that is. Like that, and again, I could have just not been ready where she was, but at the same time, I do have a lot of experience, and I've been coaching for on my own for over a year at that point, or maybe over a year. I'd had a pretty strong client.
Hey, look, so Kimberly, I get that one. I think a lot of people are in that space where they have accumulated a lot of information, and then when it actually comes to putting it together, the complication, the perfectionism, where to start. And so therefore, I do rate myself for that process because I am simple. People go like, you're not. And I'm like, I'm super simple. I'd eat with my hands day in and day out if it didn't offend other people. I'm a really simple process thinker. And when you apply simplification to that as an overview, and you just keep that, you end up with massive results. So I'm excited for that. Then you touched on the closer process, the consultation service. I mean, we're unique in that respect. We've been spending, I'd say, 10.5 years defining that. So like, it's, as you start using that and start noticing the difference with your clients as well, it isn't a pushy sales process. It isn't a, you know, there's certain things that just don't, like, they just don't work anymore. Like if you're reading some of the old sales books, I mean, they're awful. Like if
Yeah.
you do them today, the, you know, Jordan Belfort, you know, Grant sales books, they are way outdated. They don't make sense in today's market because, and look, those guys are amazing. I'm not saying they're not, but you know, buyer's resistance, over marketing has allowed people to, you know, build up a lot of walls. And so therefore, you know, a simplistic, authentic process around a core offer at the end of the day draws your ideal client. So that's cool. I'm wicked.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you on that. So what's the future looking like?
For me.
Yeah.
Um, well, I mean, I will tell you one thing. It's like I think the belief in myself that I had in, you know, closing somebody, I I was even surprised, but then I was like, oh my God. I don't know why. I don't like, but you know, I just was like, I was super. I feel like now it's like, okay, I can do this. And I didn't feel at all, to be honest with you, it was so much easier because I do stand for people. That is my thing. And I think where that's just opened up a whole ball of wax to be able to say like, okay, like I can, you know, stand for people and get paid for it too.
I mean, at the end of the day, if like the way we gamify it so that you're collecting the points, it is inevitable that happens if you just keep on going through the process. Belief comes down to, you know, certainty, and certainty, confidence, all linked to competence, knowing what to do. So when you are following a proven path,
Yeah,
it makes a lot more sense.
yeah,
Well, that's epic, Kimberly. Give yourself a hand. I'm excited for your next steps. All
yeah.
right, so let's get you clear on your next steps. Give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking forward to your next stages. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate. Thanks for jumping in as well. Thanks. I think so many times people do hold those, you know, hold those blocks and then they never do it again. And I think it's a shame. It's such a shame that people don't do that, and they miss out on the best things in life, you know, which is really making a difference in someone's life.
Yeah, yeah, and that's actually like core to who I am. I'm super resilient, and you know, I'm determined, and so that's never for me. That's I'm never afraid to like go straight in and face the scary stuff. But I think at the same time, like you're saying, like progression. When you're not having progression, that's what derails your confidence, and that's
Definitely.
you know that's huge.
Super pumped for you to be with us. Let me
Yeah,
know how you need us. All right, keep going, keep growing. No matter what happens, never give up on those dreams, Kimberly. Just keep going.
I will.
All
All
good?
right. Yeah, good.
Cool, cool,
Thank you
cool.
so much.
No worries. I'll check out you. I'll catch up with you soon, okay?
All right, sounds good. All right, bye.
See ya.